after fighting tooth and nail for health care to fight the deadly illnesses that have resulted from their heroism. 9/11 first responders now find out in order to qualify for that health care, they must first be screened by the FBI's terrorism watch list to make sure they're not terrorists. Joining me now for more from New York, Jim Ryder. He's Director of Political Affairs for the Feel Good Foundation, and he is a 9/11 first responder himself, a retired New York City police officer. Now, Jim, you guys fought a long time to get the James Zadroga 9/11 health and compensation law passed. We've covered that extensively. I know what a fight it was. I've interviewed a number of you guys. Does this latest kind of loophole or provision add insult to injury?
Absolutely. It's some kind of queer logic that the good senator from Florida has that would cause this to be in the bill, but it's not going to deter us. We're going to get what we need to get done, and we'll move another mountain if we need be.
Why do you think this provision was added?
I don't know. There's the old saying, you don't want to watch sausage or politics being made, but who knows? Who cares what his logic is? It's unnecessary, it's wrong, and it's not at all comical.
What do you think is wrong with it, and what's been the reaction from the 9/11 first responder community? I know you guys are all real tight.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll answer it in two answers. What's wrong with it is these are first responders. These are the people that ran into the buildings when everybody else was running out with no regard to their own safety, but for the needs of this city and this state and this country. They knew on that day that their heroism was going to come out, and it did. But to answer your second question, how we feel about it, there are some responders who have severe post-traumatic stress, much more than mine. And they are dealing with the traumas of life every day since 9/11. And they are taking 40 or 50 pills per day. They've got a lot of stress in their mind. In 2006, the federal government said that post-traumatic stress is a physical ailment. So these people are dealing with enough physical ailments. Now they're going to have more stress and more physical ailments because of the federal government.
Because do you think that they're concerned that this will slow down them getting health care, or do you think they're very insulted that they're being screened on a terrorism watch list just in terms of kind of that being a mark of some kind of, I don't know, a black mark?
There are a huge amount of people that turn to the Feel Good Foundation for help, thousands of people, and we're glad to help every one of them. And yes, that's going to be their first reaction is I'm not going to get the medical coverage and the compensation I deserve, but they need to turn to us for the help, and we'll help them. And we're not at all deterred, and we're going to make sure that whatever it is they need answered, the federal government will answer it, and we'll move on.
But is that the fear? Is the fear that this is going to be one more thing that slows down people being able to use this bill? Or is it that it's so insulting to be needing to be screened as a terrorist when you were a hero that was, you know, responding to a tragedy?
It's both. It's this stressful thing. It's upsetting. They think they're not going to be compensated. They think their government thinks they're terrorists. And look, these letters haven't gone out yet. They're going out. We'll read them carefully. We'll make sure we understand them. But I can give you an example of the left hand not giving the right hand the answers. I just recently got my TWIC certification, which means Homeland Security did a 6-month investigation on me. And they know who I am, but they're not telling the rest of the government who I am because I'm going to be one of the recipients of these stupid letters.
Hey, watch out, Ray. Watch out.
Look, ain't that a whole ferry?
Go back inside now.
What's the motherfucker say? Yeah, they was watching this car. And they said, oh, this motherfucker.
That's going on YouTube. Vallejo police making sure they don't shoot nobody.
He's a dude, see?
What's up?
Good. I'm gonna take your phone because that's gonna be evidence. Evidence. Give me your phone. You wanna go to jail? You're under arrest. What's holding evidence? I understand that, and I'm telling you that.
Tibetan activists say new footage gives evidence of the Chinese regime's crackdown on the Tibetan Kirti Monastery in southwestern Sichuan province. In March, a young monk at the monastery set himself on fire in protest of Chinese regime's rules. Rights groups say it provoked a crackdown, with police temporarily cutting off food supplies to the temple. Last week, the Chinese regime's foreign ministry spokesman fended international accusations claiming everything at Kirti is normal. The International Campaign for Tibet, or ICT, says this footage obtained by Voice of America shows otherwise. Taken in March, it shows heavy police presence around the monastery and the first images of the young monk who set himself on fire. He later died in the hospital. Exiled Tibetans say Chinese authorities have since undertaken a so-called patriotic re-education campaign at the monastery. Radio Free Asia reported on Thursday that a group of monks taken by authorities 2 weeks ago were severely beaten and tortured. High fuel prices have sparked protests in Shanghai, China's busiest port city. Thousands of truck drivers started to strike on Wednesday. They say the rising cost of fuel means they're no longer making any money, and they might as well just stop working.
Truck drivers in Shanghai continued to strike on Thursday over rising fuel prices. They started massive protests on Wednesday, demanding local authorities resolve the issue. The truck drivers say around 2,000 of them protested at a port near Shanghai. They're angry over high fuel prices and a new fuel surcharge put in place by warehouse owners for each container. Truck driver Mr. Wei says the higher costs mean they've stopped making money, so they might as well stop working.
Basically, for us, the truck drivers, there is nothing to gain from working. We cannot earn any profit. There is now no difference for us between working and not working, so everyone has stopped working.
Some truck drivers say their average monthly salaries are now less than 2/3 of what they made last year. Authorities clamped down on the protests. Truck drivers provided photographs showing SWAT police dragging away a protester while holding others back. The demonstration is the latest show of public concern about China's high inflation. According to the Wall Street Journal, fuel prices in China, set by authorities, has increased by about 10% this year.
Police and social activists have rescued at least 30 children from sweatshops in New Delhi. A non-government organization says the kids were forced to work 12-hour days for next to nothing.
Social activists in India say 30 children under the age of 14 have been rescued from sweatshops in New Delhi. The children were rescued Thursday by police officials and staff from a local NGO called Save the Children Movement in English. The organisation's chairman says the shop owners forced the children to work for next to nothing.
Approximately 30 children were rescued by us today. These children were engaged in various occupations, including tinsel thread embroidery work, bag making, and so on.
The industries where the children worked were sealed and their owners taken into police custody.
I worked for 12 hours a day and they paid me 100 rupees or $2.26 a week.
The children were then taken for medical checkups. In a recent landmark judgment, India's Supreme Court banned children from working in Indian circuses after a petition was filed by the Save the Children movement.
Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is Saturday, April 23rd, 2011, and I'm Darko. This is part 2 of this news bulletin, everyone. This is my website, www.ggnonline.com. That's ggnonline.com. There's a new poll there. I'm going to keep moving because we have about 5 minutes left for this video. I just wanted to put a little extra video in there in the beginning today because I found a lot of good videos. Here we go. Napolitano bags 6-year-old's pat down done professionally according to the protocols. and talking about security versus privacy. Well, you don't have any privacy as long as you have, quote, security, because if the individual is allowed to protect themselves and provide their own security, then they can have their own privacy, but that's not what we have in a collectivist society, so you can't have both, and you never will, as long as you have a government providing security for you. All right, we're going to move on here, and it says here, police raid over petrol bomb, plot sparks Tesco riots, anti-Tesco protest boils over into riot, police accused of attacking bystanders, hundreds of people set up burning barricades and hurled rocks at police as an anti-Tesco protest in Bristol rapidly escalated into a bloody running battle between officers and residents. And it says here, a Tesco Express store in Bohemian neighborhood of Stokes Croft, in the north of the city, was the focal point for the violence, with the police claiming that they had uncovered a plot to petrol bomb the store, which opened 8 days ago, to widespread hostility from the community. And then we have man dies after being shocked with a stun gun. It says here in Orlando, Florida, a man causing a disturbance outside a movie theater near Universal Studios died Friday after being handcuffed and shocked with a taser stun gun. And that's what you get when you use what? Non-lethal weapons. They're so non-lethal, aren't they? And then we have this. CDC predicts smoking bans in every state by 2020. And when they say smoking bans, they're talking about restaurants and bars. But I've been talking about an all-out ban on tobacco by 2020, well, whenever, but it says here, Supreme Court urged to decide case involving roadside crosses in Utah, and talking about the Christian cross could soon become an unconstitutional symbol, even in places like Arlington Cemetery, and conservative advocacy group warns. Political education classes could be compulsory, and they're talking about in Britain or UK, your weeds are too dirty. A woman was left fuming when council workers refused to empty her garden waste bin because it contained too much soil. So, Freedom of Information Act reveals files suggesting FDR's role in Pearl Harbor. I believe he was a 33-degree Mason, just like his predecessor, Mr. Truman, who dropped the experimental bomb on the Japanese people, where they got radiated and had birth defects. And again, they'll have it again because of what? Because of a HAARP-induced earthquake. So my heart goes out to the Japanese people and the government. They can just go to the devil. Facebook may block content, claim as speculation grows over entry into China. We're allowing too much, maybe free speech, says Washington lobbyist for company. Then teen cancer survivor, as we finally get to this, Justine Williams, now a cyberbullying victim of her best friend, teen cancer survivor, bullied by best friend, sent threatening message via email. And what is this all for? Well, this is all to chill free speech on the internet. It's talking about cyberbullying. Well, you know what, dude? Just grow a thick skin and grow up. You know what I'm saying? Just don't be friends with her. Now you know she's not your friend. You know, problem solved, but don't take away my rights to talk and speak the way I want to talk, you damn fascist. Gadget gives cops quick access to cell phone data, and universal forensic extraction device sounds like the perfect cell phone snooping gadget. Israeli-based Cellbrite, right? The same country that takes in all of your wiretapping information, all of the conversations go through an Israel-based company. And that's all I really need to say. iPhone or spy phone. It says here, security researchers have discovered that Apple's iPhone and iPad keep a minute-by-minute track of the user's geographical location. So all the time, people saying they're not little GPSers, they were wrong. So it says here, Apple, Google, tap phone location data, says report, and look at this. Researcher, iPhone location data already used by cops. So this is how everything else goes, right? They just go ahead and do it because we don't live in a democracy or a free society. We live in a social scientific dictatorship in which our masters, the scientists and the social engineers, decide or make decisions for us, the slaves, the plebs. And then they tell us afterwards, because what? Just like computers and PCs, we've become used to it and accustomed to it, right? We've incorporated it into our society, and it's not going away. The, quote, news that the iPhones and iPads keep track of where you go has been known in forensic circles for some time. Of course, the slaves are just finding out about it now. Why? Because the media hasn't told them. This is GGN, and I'm Darko. Thank you.